You could probably choose quite a few films that not many people talk about that I guess fall under the cult statusy thing. I mean, I'd love to talk about The Warriors, but I have recently spoken about them on the gaming channel, which you should go check out. So what I'm going to talk about today is either Ravenous, but more likely Lawn Dogs, which is absolutely amazing.
I have not heard of either of those films.
One of them for good reason, because it's definitely worth its 44% Rotten Tomatoes rating, but I still really love it, and it's about Wendigoism, and it's about if you eat somebody, you gain their strength, and it's set in a American Civil War. It is bizarre, but that's for another day. We're going to talk about Lawn Dogs today, which is basically about suburbia and a relationship between, or a friendship between a man who works as a gardener for a sort of suburban gated community and the daughter of one of the new residents that move in. Now they're just mates, but horrible things get implied and stuff like that. That he gets basically told or thought of that he is a paedophile, and it's not fun, but he's not. And it's him trying to basically just get by, and everyone's an arsehole except the guy who's implied to be a pedo.
Is there any dogs on?
Wait, lawn dogs or lawn dogs?
There's a dog that gets obliterated by a truck
On a lawn?
in a field. So field dogs. Field dogs wasn't catchy enough to be field dogs, but there we go.
I have a lot of like niche-y kind of, there's one genre that I absolutely adore, and that's like 70s conspiracy thrillers. So I did a lot of research for my degree of my dissertation on stuff called the Paranoid trilogy, which involved Clute, the Parallax View, and everyone's already seen All the President's Men. So those first two could probably qualify, but I'm not going to talk about those. I'm going to segue into the 90s and talk about a little film called Ronin, which released in 1998. It was directed by John Frankenheimer. It was his third to last movie, and it's all about these bunch of Cold Warriors set after the Cold War has ended, coming together to kind of find their way in the world and use their talents. And if you are a Cold Warrior and you were a member of the CIA, that probably involves shooting. So they basically are mercenaries. They get hired to perform like a robbery. The robbery goes a bit wrong, and shenanigans ensue. It also has the ultimate 90s lad, Jean Reno, doing cool stuff, and also Sean Bean. He gets interrogated by Robert De Niro, and De Niro is asking him what colour is the boathouse at Hereford, but he pronounces it as Hereford, so that's also, yeah. I mean, it's really good. I love it. It's fantastic, but no one talks about it. It's only got a 69% average on Rotten Tomatoes. Nice. There we go. You got it for me.
I did narrow it down to two, and one I was going to do, but I thought it was way too arty and hipster, and no one would have heard of it, or even be interested in hearing about it. So instead, I'm going to go for the one which is even more like that, but worse in every possible category. I was going to say The Educators, which is a German film about being an anarchist and a love triangle, and how the older you get, the more of a hypocrite you become, and you basically turn it into the thing you always hated. It's really good, and it's got your man from Captain America Civil War in it. Daniel Bruhl. And Inglourious Bastards, that absolute slice, he's in it. But that's not what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for The Beat That My Heart Skipped, which is a French film, but it's a remake of a 70s American film called Fingers, which stars Harvey Keitel, and it's about a gangster who plays the piano, and how he used to play the piano loads, but now he's a gangster, and now he realises that actually he prefers playing the piano. So it's about him trying to sort of like slink off all the time during all these horrible gangster bits and just practice the piano for this big recital he wants to do. It sounds like crazy, but it's really good, and it's really brutal and horrible, and the guy's clearly not okay, but it's just the most nicely put together film because it contrasts like all the horrible gangster stuff he does with the fact he just loves playing the piano. I've never seen the Harvey Keitel version, probably because it's called Fingers and it just sounds gross, but I imagine it's quite good. To be fair, I haven't watched it in a couple of years. It might be slightly problematic now that I think about it, certain parts of it. He does follow a woman into a toilet and just jumps over the cubicle wall because, you know, what does no mean, I guess.
You stop recommending problematic.
Yeah, I think it might be problematic now, but it's good. It's good though. It's good. It's good. That's why I didn't do any research for this. I didn't look up any information about it because, because I just thought if it's both arty and hipster and I know everything about it, I'm gonna look like so I might as well just be like, it's all right.
Well, half the ones that I mentioned, people were like, people actually know what they are. So I had to keep going more and more obscure until I remembered that I adore, there's a thing called the Red Turtle, which Studio Ghibli helped finance by this guy called Mikhail Dubok DeWitt or something. Dudok DeWitt, whatever he's called. He's a lovely, lovely man. And basically the Red Turtle is, it's an animation and it's completely wordless. It's all about the animation and the visuals. And you've basically just follow this one guy who just washes up on this island. And you kind of just follow like him trying to survive. And I'm not going to do the full spoilers because you're better off just going in, not really knowing the direction it goes in. But yeah, wordless thing, guy washes up on shore and it's about him trying to survive. Really gorgeous little, just little pockets of animation that show off like, the vibrancy of life. You've got lots of little crabs flying around. Well, they don't fly, but there's lots of little things on the beach. And eventually he decides that he's going to make a go of it and try and escape. And so that's where the Red Turtle comes in, because every time he tries to escape, this massive whopper of a Red Turtle, absolute unit, oh mate, it's a full-on red chungus, just takes him out, like just destroys his raft and and puts him back on the beach. And he's always like, what the living hell? All I want to do is get off this island. I'm clearly not enjoying my life with these weird flying turtles and I want to leave. Flying crabs. And so he says, I'm going to make another raft. And over again, he tries to leave the island and he can't. And at this stage, if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, you're probably better off just leaping in and finding out what X man does with X turtle and X flying crabs. But, well, I wasn't, but you've sort of jumped the gun there, because the thing is, the whole crux of the matter is that the turtle is not a turtle at all. And so when the turtle goes on the land, he eventually attacks the turtle because he's like, look, stop ruining my raft. And the turtle turns into a woman. And so, yes, he does shag the turtle. Basically, though, this Mikhail wanted to explore the idea of like, how does humanity respond to nature? We always tend to destroy things and we're never really content. And so the whole movie is kind of an exploration of that. And it does so with like this weird, gentle kind of way that they sort of portray the turtle, and it's great. So I would totally recommend it. I think you're better off going in not knowing very much. Even this complete mess of a description is good, because it means you'll have to see the full thing to understand it properly. But yeah, the Red Turtle, bloody brilliant.
See, now, technically I feel like mine is a lot more mainstream than the other ones, because it is a Robert Rodriguez film, so you probably know what is coming, but it's one that never comes up in natural conversation unless you are specifically going for a 90s B-movie goodness, and it is The Faculty. And it is this fantastic, ridiculous horror movie about high school and aliens in high school and navigating high school with aliens. It's a real trip. It's a real hard time. These people have it tough because their coach and their head teacher has been infected with a weird parasite that makes them have tentacle skin and want to be real creepy and horrid. Yes, there's all these aliens and they're turning people with weird tentacle faces, and there's the coach and the president of the school. Principal, that's the one. The school president. And they get turned into aliens and start being real creeps to everyone and being real horrid, and there's a real sexy teacher who aliens make sexy for some reason, because that's what happens when you get parasites. So they're in high school, there's aliens, it's a real problem, and it's got Elijah Wood in being very Elijah Wood and fantastic. There's horrible bugs everywhere, and it's just the most, it is just the most ridiculous B-movie you could ever watch. It knows exactly what it is. Everyone is around injecting and snorting MDMA-like drugs to try and figure out if they're an alien or not. So they're just there going around with pencils and jabbing people, shoving powder in and being like, whoa, were you an alien? And then just being on a trip for the rest of the film. That sort of crap. It pulls all sorts of weird stunts.
Well, I feel like this is even more of a mainstream one than what Ash would have said. But my one is Killer Joe. Now, everyone seems to forget about this one, I feel like, because we had Dallas Buyers Club, which is held as the Matthew McConaughey, as it's sort of known as. And also there was sort of Mud before. But in between, Killer Joe was literally a film about him being a contract killer, as well as someone, who would like to torture people with fried chicken.
Fried chicken?
Yes, that's very far in the head of the story, but I won't tell you who gets the fried chicken treatment. But early on, this family, the Smith family, live in a trailer park in rural-ish America, just outside of a town, and they're not really that they're well off, so they need some money. So what better way to do than, to collect the inheritance money from Ansel's ex-wife if she was to perhaps die.
Oh, that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, so this is where Matthew McConaughey comes in. And once he's been contracted in, this is very early on, so it's not really a spoiler, where he does the deed, he then sort of finds his way worming himself into the family and just becomes such a sinister character. And it's almost like a black comedy, this, where he sort of knows he's in control, but he kind of lets everyone else play their pieces until the final moment, or when the climactic bit with the fried chicken line is
It's in the climax.
it's where the fried chicken, you could say, is the climax of the film, and it is just a total like left turn. You don't see it coming. Everyone's sitting down all happy and such, and the violence ramps up to 1,000, and it is one of those moments where you sit there and think, did I just see Matthew McConaughey do that with a chicken leg?
This was really hard. I went through a couple ideas before actually starting this. I was tempted to do some Joe Swanberg films because I really love Nights and Weekends and Drinking Buddies. Then I was tempted to do Black Dynamite, which is honestly one of the funniest comedies I've ever seen. But I settled on Submarine, which is Richard Ayoade of the IT Crowd and Big Fat Quiz of the Year fame. It's his film debut, and it's like this coming-of-age movie, which, you know, is just very much what I love. Stuff like Lady Bird, stuff like other coming-of-age movies. It's just like my cup of tea. It's a very British coming-of-age movie. It's like about this boy who's about 14 or something, and he really likes this girl. But obviously he's like in school, and there is a certain kind of mentality when you're a boy of that age, when you like someone, like you don't kind of want to make a fool of yourself either to her or to your mates. And it's kind of a very real, very relatable sort of journey through his life and how he deals with trying to be a boyfriend to this girl, but also deal with his family problems because his dad is in like a job that he doesn't like, and he's very depressed, and his mum doesn't get on with his dad and kind of fancies Paddy Considine, who comes in, who's like this ninja, and it's really strange, but it really works. And
Coming of age story that features a ninja.
Well, it's a spiritual ninja, Ben Roy. It's a spiritual. He's a spiritual ninja with a mullet. It's good.